Guys, get ready to die.
This is the way. Welcome back to the Hold Maneuver podcast. I'm Mark.
And I'm Mike. We're two hardworking dads trying to immerse ourselves in Star Wars and fit it into our very busy lives.
If this is your first time listening and or watching, in the sometimes short form Star Wars podcast, we'll share our thoughts on different topics from a galaxy far, far away.
Okay, so do you guys know what you call it when Din leaves the cockpit hatch open on the N1 Starfighter? Do you know what you call that?
A whoopsie-doo.
Nah.
A low pressure situation.
I like that one, but very close. But it's door ajarin.
He'd probably just say, "This is the way," and keep driving.
This is the way. That wasn't my best delivery. My deepest and sincerest apologies to the writer of the joke.
That's all right. I wrote the joke, as you can tell with how bad that joke is.
I was going to say, these jokes have writers.
Yeah. Anyway, this week, this is episode 39 of the HOLDO Maneuver. And this week are going to be talking about the Mandalorian season 3, episode 2, chapter 18, the Mines of Mandalore. And again, with us, our returning guest, Mr. Adam Daniel and Justin Gyorfi.
Hola.
Hello, sirs.
From Quebexico City.
Quebexico City, Quebexico.
Yes. So last week we talked about the first episode. Kind of before we get into it and talk about some of the headlines that we have, what were you guys' thoughts briefly on what you thought about the premiere last week?
Adam, get you started for the season. I thought it dove right in, which is what I was hoping for. Because sometimes season premieres can like lag a little bit because they're setting up for the rest of the season, or like trying to do too much. But it had one focus, and it was like it stuck to it, and it was able to build on that, and I liked it. I mean, I love the show. It could be a crappy episode, and also I love it. But
I really enjoyed it. I thought both that I had a good focus. It tackled the things that it needed to get out of the way quickly, like Cara Dune, and we also got to see a lot of building blocks too for what's going to happen, or like to see throughout the season. I thought they did a lot of good job at setting up things there.
For our thoughts on it, you have to check out last week's episode.
Yeah. We don't give out that stuff for free, except when we give it out for free when we release the episode every week.
You just got to get past the Kenny Loggins.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Kenny Loggins Messina talk last week for all you Kenny Loggins Messina fans.
For more of that, you can check out the Loggins Maneuver, now available on Spotify for podcasters, formerly known as Anchor FM. But this week, the two news articles that we're going to kind of briefly talk about was that there is what Variety called a Star Wars shakeup with the Kevin Feige and Patty Jenkins produced and directed films have been shelved, as well as Taika Waititi's Star Wars film. He will probably star in that film, kind of like, how he has as like Porg or What We Do in the Shadows.
Wasn't he Hitler in Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah, which was really funny.
I heard he was also a rock guy and in the Thor movies.
Yeah,
but I never saw those.
As you can see, I'm made of rocks.
He was a funny character.
Yeah,
he's funny. I think I think it's something that was kind of that was coming with Patty Jenkins and Kevin Feige, and I think it's interesting that after that news drops today, Bob Iger talked about how I can't quote him exactly, but I think Mark and I talked about it off pod about how it seems
Unacceptable.
he has like how it seems like he has like he's has Marvel fatigue.
Yeah,
And
the
I
the
think they
ever
were
yeah.
kind of like I think the writing was on the wall for Patty Jenkins after it just kind of fell apart with Wonder Woman and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Well, they had that big teaser for it, and then talking about how her dad was a fighter pilot, and then it seemed to go nowhere from there, and we never heard really anything after that. And they kept announcing new things like Skeleton Crew, and it's just
I don't really consider it a shakeup because didn't Lucasfilm or someone announce that they're not making any like Star Wars movies for the foreseeable future?
Yeah,
And
like
then-
in that same thing with Bob Iger, he said that they still want to make Star Wars films, but something like that when they make it, they want to make sure that they get it right and do it well. So that's why they've been basically like what year did Rise of Skywalker come out again? Like 2019.
Right before the
Yeah.
pandemic.
I thought it was longer than that.
That's because 2020 and 2021 were weird years. They're like
That's
7
true.
years. They're like a decade all in the room.
That's very true.
doing
But
Rise
yeah.
of Skywalker and the Solo movie, like those really put a damper, I feel, on a lot of
Solo
plans.
got dampered because of how Disney released it. It was still a good movie.
It was also a movie that went through extensive like reshoots and a firing of directors and
Halfway through production.
Yeah, who was the original director? I forget.
It was Lord and Miller.
Yeah,
who done like the Jump Street movies and Claudius Chance Meatballs amongst.
and it was too much. They were doing too
Spider-Verse.
much mumble. They were doing too much mumblecore for Disney's liking.
Yeah.
So,
Now, the other thing there too is, which is kind of a bummer, is that with Kevin Feige's getting shelved too, just because I know specifically that he's always been like a huge like Star Wars fan. Like that's what his first passion was before like he started working at Marvel Studios and was the head of Marvel Studios. Like his like how Marvel movies are to a lot of people now, Star Wars movies were to him as he was growing up and has continued to grow up. And I mean, he's fully an adult now, obviously, but that's why I was excited for him producing one, just because I wanted to kind of see what his like take on like a Star Wars film would be from there. I mean, obviously though, now he's like super busy with all of the MCU goings on. So it should be interesting. And then the thing with the Taika Waititi movie still, because like all of these got announced back at that like shareholders like thing, like I don't know, like
yeah, they don't have to give
like,
refunds, so now they can cancel everything.
Yeah, it was like during the pandemic where it was like where they announced that Rangers of the New Republic show that's like no longer a thing too, because I think that was pretty much going to be that Cara Dune show.
Yeah, it was going to be like
yeah,
she ruined that.
Yeah, so and with that, I wonder if like what the character would be for his movie that he's directing, because I'm assuming it wouldn't be IG-11. I mean, unless
he tried to get Natalie Portman to star in it, but
I could see him making a great movie though.
Yeah, like maybe he would forget that he was already in Star Wars too, kind of like he had forgotten that Natalie Portman was in Star Wars. Yeah, that should be interesting to see what happens with those. And then the other thing. Oh, go ahead.
I just hope we get a Flight of the Conchords reunion in it too.
Oh yeah,
that'd be pretty neat.
Maybe have them be aliens. Specifically, Jermaine's from Men in Black 3 could also be his alien.
Oh yeah, jeez.
We almost had NSYNC aliens, so.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh man, the early aughts.
Speaking of the prequel trilogy.
Yeah. So the other thing, the other you're going to call it. The other
News.
headline we were going to talk about was the Starcruiser is going to be reducing the number of voyages to just 2 per week starting later this year in October of 2023. And I think that's just mostly because it's like right now, a lot of people can't really afford the
Anything.
cost. yeah. Let alone a lot of just like like luxury things to do, but to be able to go to this and like experiences, like we had Michael Lee on the show a few months ago to talk about his experience with it, and I think like the only reason like he even got to do is that he split the cost with like 4 or 5
he split
other
it
people.
like 5 ways or something like that.
Yeah, so what I'm saying here is, do the 3 of you want to book a trip to Florida and we will split, and I call top bunk. Yeah, I almost feel like that's gonna be like, I don't know, I would like love to do that eventually, but it's like I just feel like it's out of the price range of a lot of the people that would want to do that. And I think that's probably why it's one of the reasons it's kind of struggling to book a lot of.
Speaking for myself, I'd have to end up spending an extra $10,000 almost just like traveling there. So,
not to mention Florida's kind of it's going off the rails pretty quick here.
I won't say anything about Florida. I have a dad who lives there. I just keep Florida out of my mouth. It just gets me in trouble.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm alluding to. Like,
but I mean, I would. That's something I would do for sure. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? But it'd have to be like. This is gonna sound, maybe it's awful, but like Make-A-Wish kind of thing.
Oh, jeez.
For like adults, like if I had some sort of like inoperable tumor, and like they make movies
John Cena
about that anyway. They made a movie, the whole Star Wars fandom movie about
fanboys.
So it's not. I'm not saying anything that nobody ever thought of, so I feel better about it. But yeah, Make-A-Wish kind of.
That's a good movie too, Fanboys.
Yeah, I enjoy that movie.
Yeah,
for sure.
So with further ado,
on that note,
yeah, let's get into talking about the Mandalorian Chapter 18, the Mines of Mandalore. So for this, we're going to be recapping the 2nd episode, and this episode was directed by Rachel Morrison, and it premiered on Disney Plus on yesterday. March 8th. And then, as we introduced at the opening of the pod, joining us today are returning guests Adam Daniel and Justin Gyorfi. So, what were all your initial thoughts on this episode as you finished it? So we'll go round robin again, like we did last week, starting with Adam, then Justin, followed by Mike, and then myself.
So, just overall thoughts of the episode.
Yeah, just like your
upper echelon,
all-encompassing.
I thought there were some really awesome like fight scenes in this episode, and you got to see Grogu use his powers, which is always cool. And they kind of gave you like a timeline too of how long it has been since the end of, I guess, season 2, episode 17 or 16, I guess it would be. So I kind of, I mean, even just going down through the mines was so interesting to me, and all the creatures like they had to fight, like they look like wolf bears. I don't even know how to describe those things.
Forgot what they called them.
Wolf bears.
They screamed "Land of the Lost" to me.
Oh, the Dolomites.
Yeah, it was just very action packed, and I love episodes like that, or like anything. If it's action, like if that to me helps move the story along, and I love the way Mandalorian actually does their stories when they have action, how they move the story along, and not just, they don't have action just to have it. They have it and it makes sense to have it where it is. So it was a very action-packed episode for me, so I thoroughly enjoyed it.
How about you, Justin?
I was really shocked that they went like straight there after the season premiere. I thought we were going to build up to it with more him searching for more Mandalorians and more to do with the IG-11 before going into Mandalore proper. But what we got, it shocked me. I found it really exciting. It felt weirdly like a step back on Mando, though, because having just binged through the 2 seasons and Book of Boba Fett right before this, he seemed a lot more useless compared to where he was in like season 1 and 2. And that said, it did the same thing it does every week. It ends with something really effing cool that has me excited, and I can't wait to talk about it with somebody. When I saw that Mythosaur, I'm just like,
oh, that's what that thing's called? Okay.
Yeah.
I've been wondering that.
So like if you the insignia that you've probably seen like on like Boba's armor,
the chrome plated skull that was hanging behind the architect.
Yeah, that's the Mythosaur.
Yeah, I just have never taken the time to type into Google, what's that skull from? Figure it out.
Well, they talked about it, I think, in the episode too, because I think wasn't it Mando telling Grogu about the Mythosaur there in the waters? That's why it's so important.
Yeah.
And what did you think, Mike?
I love the fact that they dove right in. I didn't want a huge build up for the season to make like the ending being him bathing in the waters. I think it was good to get there because it enhanced Bo-Katan. And that was my favorite part of last week's episode was her scene. And this episode felt like giving her a lot of power, which was cool. And it kind of like, granted, I have like hard feelings with religion, so not to go that it's kind of, to me it's like, oh, they're kind of tearing down the fact that it's a religion that isn't like you were lied to and that's coming true. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. I thought the humor they added in was good. I always like that. Pork soup for one. The Jawas stealing parts and them selling them back, their parts, was funny. I was surprised that the whole premise was, oh, we're going on this journey to find this memory chip, and then they're like, Jawa said we can't get it. Okay, we can't get it. Here's our R5D4, which callback, loved it. So because he broke down the same way he did in A New Hope.
Yeah, I love that like R5D4 is getting so much further screen time, like post A New Hope. And I don't know if they're canon anymore, but they were supposed to be when they first released those, like the From a Certain Point of View books that they've been doing. I believe there's a story in the New Hope one where like R5D4 was supposed to be like force sensitive and was basically like a Jedi droid.
Interesting.
There's like a whole story to it. I don't remember like the exact specifics of it. I just remember like that he was, or they. I don't know.
It'd be they. Correctly
R5D4
would be they.
Yeah.
Don't say it. It'll make people mad.
Yeah, I don't know what R5D4 identifies as, but
yeah. We don't want to go the Cara Dune route. So they them.
I believe they identify as a mess.
Yeah. They are definitely very scared about everything. So, but yeah, I enjoyed seeing more of R5D4 in there. I liked seeing the Ubuntu Eve Classic because we've heard about that before in the past, but we never like seen it. So it was cool to see what kind of old school George Lucas influence on Star Wars with essentially was like drag racing on the streets of Mos Eisley, calling back to like American Graffiti. But even like what's her name, Pelemoto, basically grifting that dude by stealing the parts off of his muscle car and then selling them back to him and telling the pit droids to hang them on them differently so that he doesn't notice that they were the
Not you said
the
paint
same.
them.
All right. She might have said
Either
that too,
way,
but I
it's funny.
yeah, either way it was funny, but yeah, I just liked like little things like that with it. And I liked like we said, the kind of I thought it was kind of like cool and weird at the same time to see Mandalore in live action after, at least with me having seen it so often in animated form from like the Clone Wars.
Mhm.
But I also enjoyed Bo's backstory download to Din. That if you have watched like the Clone Wars or Rebels, you've seen that backstory kind of progress and play out through those. Which also brings me to is that I kind of hope that like this show doesn't usually do flashbacks too often, even though last week we thought we were getting that flashback
fake
out that we
flashback.
had.
Yeah, that was a fake out.
Yeah. It could be cool. Like I don't know if they would have filmed this like while they were doing Obi-Wan, but like maybe if there's like a flashback to like Bo, Satine, and Obi-Wan on Mandalore, like when Mandalore is kind of not like totally in its prime, but like still not a heaping pile of mess that it is now. That could be interesting to kind of do something with that. And like we already know there's going to be some kind of a flashback, at least based on the trailers, to like Order 66 or a seemingly Order 66 sometime this year. So that should be interesting. And the thing when we kind of get to it in the episode is that cyborg-esque kind of creature that my wife said that it reminded her of Grievous a little bit, just because of how it was like mechanical and
Yeah, it was like a
organic at the same
spawn.
time.
It was like a little spawn of him, of Grievous. That's what it
Yeah.
seemed like to me.
Like if you mix General Grievous with John Carpenter's The Thing,
Yeah,
just because of like the head turned into like a spider and like
it was
crawled
like
away to.
it reminded me of a beetle when it crawled away like that, because just
Oh,
how
yeah.
the shape of it, more of a beetle than a spider, but like totally gave me that sort of, because I hate
Wild West ruined mechanical spiders. So.
Although the eventual backstory that Kevin Smith told to that whole bit with the mechanical spider in it then made up for the mechanical spider being it if you knew the backstory now, because you're like, all right, now it's funny because now I know why this is in this movie.
Yeah, that was funny. I did see that.
And people, if you don't know what that backstory is, look it up. So we're not going to waste time telling it here.
Or watch last week's episode. We talked about it there too.
Oh yeah. And the episode before that episode was episode 37, which Adam was also on, and we talked about Kevin Smith. So
it all ties together.
It's like poetry, it rhymes. So we're bringing that back.
Oh man, cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a flirkin. Mother flirkin. That's the wrong thing.
That's the wrong space show.
Mace Windu said that, right? Or was it?
Yeah.
Anyways, so the episode,
I think it was the dude from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, we just better all hold on to our butts. And sign up for
Mace Windu line.
Sign up for a Quicksilver credit card. Which, side note to that, they really need to have Evan Peters or Aaron Taylor Johnson do a commercial of that with Samuel Jackson, because I mean it's just there. Just
why not Jeremy Renner?
Or Quicksilver.
He could be
the card
he could do it as Jeffrey Dahmer in the commercial.
It could protect him.
He could be buying like takeout with his Quicksilver card.
Yeah. Or yeah.
But
yes. So the episode opened with Din Djarin visiting Pelimoto on Tatooine during the Bunta Eve festival in search of a new memory chip for IG-11. She said she doesn't have one, but instead sells him R5D4.
Did she sell him, or did she just put him in the thing? Like,
well, she sold him R5D4 as much as she just kind of was like, take R5D4.
Yeah, she was
sick
like,
of him.
I don't want it anymore. He doesn't really listen to me, basically, is what she said.
And I'm surprised she didn't like try to sell the BD droid, because if anyone's played the Fallen Order games, the BD droid would have been perfect for surveying a planet and getting readings.
Well,
Yep.
I think she was really trying to get rid of R5. I think
She
that's
definitely was trying to get rid of R5. Like
And
that's
I guess
how I thought.
maybe they didn't want Din to be too close to Cal Kestis in his like having a droid like on his shoulder and then Grogu on the other shoulder. Well, that'd be kind of a cool poster, just like BD on one poster and then Grogu on the other one. But
That's you're getting into pirate territory, and that was last week.
that's true. And then also that pod for Grogu lasted all of like maybe what, like 2 episodes of
he got
of
to
Boba
see
Fett,
the
one
whales.
episode of-
That's all that he needed. No.
Yeah. Well, that's not safe. What's he got to do? Just got to sit on Din's lap all the time now.
Yeah.
He's got his little egg he can go sit in.
Where's that
where-
fit though?
I don't know. It's in there though.
Yeah,
Where's
it's in
all
there
this stuff
somewhere.
fit?
I don't think about that stuff. It folds up nicely.
The N1 Starfighter is like a TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside.
Yeah.
He did tell Grogu to go like get into like his pod like in
Air
Mhm.
seal it.
the air seal. So I don't know where it fits in there, but it fits in there somewhere.
Yeah, he did it for like 2 seconds. He was like, all right, I did it. The thing's closed now. I'm out.
He's like, all right,
So
bye.
he didn't show it.
But yeah, that was interesting. So like, yeah, we get that, and that almost kind of made like last week feel, I don't know, not as important with him like trying to get IG-11, and then he's just like totally fine with taking R5D4 this week instead of like when he was like super hard pressed on getting IG-11 to the point of taking the statue down.
Yeah.
I still think
But-
we're going to see IG-11 return.
Yeah.
And Taika Waititi's movie.
Yeah,
Maybe.
but he could have used IG-11 though in that episode. Have his back that time, like the whole time with everything else that goes on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Why not?
Yeah.
Instead, is it just stored in the ship somewhere?
Yeah, where was he gonna sit?
Yeah.
He would fold up into the Grogu pod, like the old the battle droids did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting. So Din, Grogu, and R5 fly to Mandalore, and Din orders R5 to scout ahead and ensure that the atmosphere is non-toxic. And like when
Then he falls in a pit.
Yeah, when R5 gets let out, he's like, "Are you sure I have to go over there?"
It's kind of funny. I love that scene because he's just like, you could just, I mean, because you obviously don't know what they're saying, but the beeps and the boops do. But you like just the way they had it done. Just like I would have been the same way and be like, come on, man, like do I really have to go out there right now? Like I don't know.
I watch movies. I know what happens when I go around that corner. I don't come back.
Yeah, and he didn't come back, or they didn't come back.
Sorry, I5. We don't know. But yeah. So then Din's like, God damn, or I guess he would say, dank Ferric, and then like seals, which I guess I didn't remember that you could do that, where he like seals, like pressure seals the helmet when he goes out there so that he can like walk around. Which I guess he would only have like a certain amount of.
But if he could do that, why did he need to get a droid?
Well, because I think it's like the rebreather where he only has, or
But
like
still,
any kind of like Scooby.
He could have like done a reading with a little handheld thing.
Maybe, but I guess
to exist.
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought it was going to be the reason why he didn't just do it on like surface level and sent R5 into the cave was because he needed to check more, like
like
the
deeper down.
you go into the mines, the more toxic it could be.
That's what canaries are for.
Exactly. R5 was the canary.
Or Gimli. You get Gimli to go on it. Be like, they call it the mine.
That's where the Balrog lives.
Yeah. That's what the Mythosaur was, is that like
It's actually a Balrog.
Yeah. Listen, this is a crossover.
A water Balrog, not a fiery demon Balrog.
It could be fire underwater, you know.
That's
they
true.
they got
their
water
jetpacks
bogs,
work
and they
underwater.
got fighter ball rods.
Yeah, Bo-Katan's jetpack seemed to work very well underwater.
That's pretty awesome.
No issue.
But we'll get to that. So when R5 doesn't return, Din ventures after it and is attacked by several of those Dolomites, which are a native troll-like species living in the caves. Bo talks about this a little bit later when she gets there. But what I thought was kind of interesting is that she said that they used to live like on like the outskirts of basically like the Mandalore Dome areas. So it was like, so you essentially, is this basically, I guess you could give it like an equivalency of that, like the Dolomite, or not Dolomites, Dolomites were.
Dolomite would be something completely different.
Dolomite is their name. Dolomites were like essentially would be like the native Mandalorians.
Aboriginals.
Yeah, the Aboriginals, as it were, of Mandalore.
It's possible.
And then the Mandalorians are like
the
settlers coming, the colonial settlers coming in and taking over their land and pushing them out. And then like when they effed up the land and had to leave, the Dolomites took it back. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But then the first thing that happens, and when like two different Mandalorians come back to the planet,
they kill 6 of them.
Yeah, they immediately start beating the crap out of them. And then even Grogu even gets in the action and like force pushes one like through like the air. And
how smug did he look when he did that? Like,
oh yeah,
he's like what?
He's like, now I am trained. I am trained now. I know how to use these powers.
Yeah,
he used his power.
During that too was I liked the flips that Grogu was doing throughout this. Remind me of a little bit of like episode 2 Yoda
and Dooku.
This is the season of flying Grogu.
Dooku. Count Dooku.
He wasn't really talking in this episode, but he's making more.
That was kind of strange to me.
Yeah, he was making more sounds that weren't as much of like coos and like I guess banked sound design of baby sounds.
Yeah.
Just because, and I only know those are like banked because I've heard like those same exact baby cooing sounds.
Yeah,
like
it's generic baby number 1 and 2.
I was like, I expect better from you, Skywalker sound. You gotta make your own baby cooing sounds.
Get those babies back in the workforce.
Yeah, but I loved all that stuff with Grogu in here. But I did think it was funny, just like how like some of like the like sounds I guess he was making to like talk or answer questions that are like Peli Moto is saying, oh, he said my name. Here he said Peli. Yeah. So I forgot until just now too. She like name drops Boba there at the beginning too.
Yeah.
For a second I thought maybe Boba Fett was gonna show up in this episode too, and he'd be like,
he probably will this season.
You showed up in my show, now I'm showing up in your show.
He'll have the memory chip or something and want like the Dark Saber.
3 episodes of mine.
Yeah. It'll be called Chapter 20, The Return of Boba Fett. Like the
epilogue or Appendix B or something. I don't know.
Epilogue.
But so after that, after Din smackdowns the natives of the planet, he heads deeper into the mines, and he's captured by a cyber creature and sends Grogu for Bo-Katan's help. This lady. And I didn't like really know what was going on there at that point, because I don't remember if it was when they got back, but like he had like stabbed with it looked like a needle, and then was the like cyborg like stealing his blood?
Essentially.
Yeah, that's what I thought, that he was taking like his blood and stuff, and like
that's what spiders do, suck you, eat you from the inside out. That's
kind of like an alien would like test you for things. I thought that's what was happening. That's what I assumed was just getting like those tests done that aliens would do.
I was assuming that it was like draining the blood for it itself, because like it's like it needs some bio stuff, I guess, to it, because we can see that eye is very biological.
Yeah.
But now, do you think that we've seen like whatever that was before? It kind of reminded me of, I don't remember exactly what its name was, but the creature that was in Solo, like the one that was
That was
like,
in the
Yeah.
Kessel
yeah, it was
Run.
kind of like, yeah, that was kind of, oh no, not that, but the thing that was kind of like Han's boss, like on that planet near the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about in the beginning of the movie, and it like that little thing.
Yeah, it's like almost like a snake
maybe.
thing.
Maybe
The
there
other
was
thing I thought it might have been was like the same alien that's in like the trash compactor.
Yeah.
That's also in Galaxy's Edge in the like the water fountain area.
Proxima. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Lady Proxima.
And like I don't know if it's it's probably not, obviously not the same character, but I just wondered if it was like the same like species or.
Looking at
Anyways,
this picture, I'm gonna say no, but it's possible.
Okay.
You know,
My first thought was that it was like some kind of Imperial like spider droid from Empire that has searching for like Luke and that.
Mhm.
That could be interesting.
I thought it was for, and then we saw the eye, and I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah,
I didn't get a chance
saw
to.
the eye. I felt the same way. I was like, wait, it's not just a droid. I thought it was a droid at first.
Yeah.
That's what I
And
thought.
then
And then I thought it might have been controlled by porgs because they were eating porg soup after she killed it. So,
which I guess means that porgs are not just native to Octu. I guess they're also on Mandalore as well. Because if they're making porg soup on Mandalore, I guess that means porgs were also on that.
They could have been brought there when they settled.
Maybe porgs aren't indigenous to. Yeah, because we know how they just kind of burrow and like nest into like a spacecraft, because they were in the Falcon as it was flying around Crate. So I guess they could get into stuff like rats. They're basically like space rats.
Maybe they're like
delicious
when they
space
just
rats.
mass produce.
Yeah, or like I guess maybe space pigeons. I don't know.
Pigeon rats.
Yeah, pigeon rats. That's what they are. But so when after that happens, as they go deeper into the mines, what was that?
It's a triple. It's a triple. Wrong universe, obviously, but we have a triple.
Although we had truck references last week too, because of the truck wars coming on the show. There you go. It's like poetry, it rhymes.
You're gonna keep saying that.
Yeah, because it's like poetry, it rhymes. But yeah, so like after Din gets captured, Grogu goes off by himself and goes to get Bo for help to save Din. And I thought this whole thing was cool too, with like just watching like Grogu basically going on his like own little like side mission to go get Bo, and like how kind of like annoyed she was that she saw the N1 Starfighter. She's like, what the hell? Like, what? Why is this dude coming back and bothering me again? Also, is she always chilling out on that chair?
She's got nothing else.
She doesn't have anything else to do. She has nobody to lead.
Everything.
All her followers
she's just always sitting there like,
yeah, she's just alone.
But she does choose like the most like comfortably uncomfortable poses.
Yeah, that's
like we talked about last week. Chair acting.
That's not
great chair acting.
It's not ergonomic at all. It's gonna like kill her back.
I mean, I commented on Twitter. She has the most bisexual chair lounging situation that I've ever seen.
She is. She just kind of like, I don't know. I feel like she just had to like, she sat there and then found a way. Like, it'd be funny to see like her outtakes, just kind of like trying to get comfortable in the chair, like I do in this.
I sadly had a boss that used to sit like that all the time in his office. You'd walk in, he'd get in the most uncomfortable looking position instead of just move his chair, just because he was so annoyed that you came in and bothered him. So people do it.
This reminds me. I don't remember if it was supposed to be, or know if it was supposed to be intentionally funny in the movie, but in Black Adam, when he like sits in the throne and that, and he's like trying to get comfortable, I was like, is this supposed to be like taken seriously right now, or is it a joke? And then he does it just so that he can like strike like the pose of the comic book cover, and then he's like, no, never mind. I think there's some like other movie too where there's like somebody sitting like in a chair and they can't, and like they keep just like sliding
Wasn't it Austin
down.
Powers with Dr. Evil?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, where he like keeps like sliding in the chair like after. But
Or any Zoom call anybody's ever been on.
yeah, that would be funny if you just saw Bo sitting down and like she just like slowly slides out of the chair just because
Or
of like her.
any Mel Brooks movie, probably.
Yeah, and her armor, just her armor, the noise the armor's gonna make. It's just funny.
Yeah.
The whole situation is
She-
really funny.
She buffed and waxed the armor too much so that when she sits down, she just like slides and out of the chair. But
You'd think she'd wear her helmet then more because it's gonna prevent any concussions from falling out of those chairs.
no, we got to see Katie Sackhoff's face. We got to see her face.
She doesn't believe in the lore and the mythology. So
No,
But
she's
yeah,
like
see,
heritage.
this in the magic water
this-
side.
this doesn't come off.
Mark, consent first.
You didn't even ask, man. Can I rip your head off?
I was even thinking where he's grabbing.
Oh man.
For people not watching the video, I picked up the action figure by the arms and then pulled on top of the helmet.
Those are not the arms.
What are you talking about? I don't know where I grabbed then, I guess. Anyways, Bo-Katan continues to be a badass, and she goes and helps Grogu save Din on Mandalore. I like this whole sequence of events with that, and like she gets the Dark Saber and just wields it like without any problem at all, just like she has in the past.
Love that part.
Yeah, that
Which-
was such a great scene.
Definitely continues to show like being able to wield the Dark Saber is really just like a state of mind and like I guess like confidence level more or less. Like if you think
Well,
you
Din
should be
doesn't want
wielding
it. Like
yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's Jon Snow. He doesn't want the Dark Saber, whereas she like thinks it's like her birthright, and that like this like that's what her destiny is to do.
I mean, if her dad was High King, like she was saying, or whatever.
Yeah, it's that the sword, the Dark Saber is just an extension of her.
Yeah.
When we saw though that like robot dude strip him of the Dark Saber and just toss it, and we have Grogu watching it getting thrown, I was just waiting for him to like force grab it and light it up. You know,
Yeah,
like
'cause-
I wanted that, but now that I think about it, it's like that's how I want the series to end, is with Grogu full Mandalore and with the Dark Saber.
Yeah.
Dark Saber that's 5 times the size.
Yeah, I was gonna be like,
nuts.
man, he'd have to like either just like force levitate it to use it because
rolling around in this egg, just
otherwise it would just be like him like using like grabbing like a huge like long sword where he's like gotta like grab it and be like but
He's gonna fight like Kylo Ren with the
with the cross hilt.
The cross hilt saber, where it's
Actually,
more
if you hold your
powerful but slower.
if you hold your hands right there like that, it actually just looked like you were holding the Dark Saber. There you
There we
you
go.
Did you break it?
Did you win? Did you win that in combat though? Because otherwise you can't rightfully wield it.
I
Although
mean,
she
that
did a
didn't
pretty
stop
good job
Bo-Katan.
wielding it, having not
Yeah.
won it in combat.
Well, I guess can't rightfully keep it. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I like that whole bit with the Dark Saber too. Is I guess with lightsabers in general is that because the crystal in them is always kind of moving, and you're kind of using and moving your own movement and force sensitivity, not necessarily with the Mandalores, but although according to Obi-Wan, the force is what goes through everybody. So and that's part of like why it reacts to how whoever's holding it is just based off of all of that and whatnot. So I thought that was interesting. But it was definitely cool. Like that whole it was cool to see them bring back like her wrist shield too, because they used that a lot in the Clone Wars in the animated series. I don't remember if we've seen her use them in season 2 of Mandalorian. Do you guys remember if she did at all? I don't remember seeing him in live action. And I
don't remember her fighting in season 2.
She does a little bit on that raid ship that they do, but like it was
more in the finale.
Rapidly. No, when she gets introduced.
Oh yeah, with the frog lady. Is that the same episode? Yeah.
Well, the frog lady gets introduced episode before, and then they're like, "We've dropped you off here now," and then her husband knows somebody and points them to
Grogu only ate 17 of your kids.
Yeah, Grogu's like,
everybody made a big
sorry about your kids. I ate them all.
Aren't I cute? Loves himself some frogs.
Aren't I cute committing genocide?
My uncle liked frog legs, so maybe
my grandmother liked frog legs.
Frog legs are pretty good.
I've never had frog legs.
That's because you love Kermit too much.
I do love Kermit a lot.
And you watch the Muppet movie and you're like, oh.
Speaking of that,
the whole plot line to this movie is about frog legs.
There's a quote from George Lucas about what species Yoda is. He said it's what would look like if Kermit and Miss Piggy had a child.
I mean,
because Frank Oz is
Frank Oz. Yeah.
Yeah. I never heard that quote before, and I read it the other day, and I was like, oh, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Frank Oz.
Grogu's just another one of their spawn.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm still going to stand to the stance that Grogu is Yaddle and Yoda's result of the force of what penetrates us and binds us all together.
Yoda is too pure and a force user.
You've seen the movie Rio, right?
No.
They were the last blue macaws. So Yoda and Yaddle were the last of their species, and Yoda's like, hey,
Mundi, who's
Yaddle.
Got his big head and too many women's businesses.
How do we know Yoda didn't do it one of those monkey things you ate, Mark?
Quacky and monkey lizards.
Yeah, well, what if he's one of those kids? Yoda just gets a little too freaky with it.
He likes his monkey birds.
What Yoda does in his spare time is between Yoda and what he does in his spare time.
Can we just side note here? Watching Grogu's diet, Yoda picked a place for him to be the apex predator.
Oh yeah, I mean that's probably why he picked that planet. They had Earth-like reptiles on that planet.
Yeah.
But so like this next bit here too I thought was really cool with like after Bo-Katan rescues Din and she kills the cyborg before leading Din to the living waters, and
he just goes right for it. He doesn't even wait.
He starts saying his prayers and they're ready to get baptized again. And
now when he started taking off the cape and stuff, I was like, is this gonna
is it gonna take everything but the helmet off?
Yeah, so is this gonna be a thing that
I thought that's what was gonna happen.
Like a bunch of the people that are like infatuated with Pedro Pascal nowadays are be like, oh yeah, this is where I pause Disney Plus. And then he stops after like the cape and like two things and then jumps. The part I know it wasn't supposed to be funny, but like where he takes 2 steps and then just I think he got grabbed by the Mythosaur, but he either got grabbed or he took 2 steps and then just like fell immediately.
he did get some innards taken out of him.
Yeah, he just straight up
fell.
Like he just
the blood loss caught up to him
because that thing was asleep when she shined her light on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I think he did this well. Done.
He forgot how to swim.
And with that too, I was like, also how is he proving to the armorer that he did this?
It's a good question. I was wondering that too.
Well, then he's going to take Bo-Katan with him and be like, she can vouch.
Yeah, but is the armorer going to listen? Is the armorer going to listen to her?
That might be her mom. We don't know.
And I think it was you, Justin, but like that had the theory that the armor was like part of like the mall contingency of the Mandalorian
Well, she's
sect
got the
because she has
little-
the horns.
She's got the horns, and because of her being part of the Watch, which we know is part of Death Watch as well, which was Maul's subgroup, I kind of figured she's a remnant of it. So if you did actually have Bo-Katan and armor come together, there would probably be a lot of bad blood, because she probably blames them and Jon Favreau for the fall of Mandalore.
Yeah. Now the other I can't find it, but they believe they said it either earlier in this episode or the first episode with like the legend of the Mythosaur. So like whoever it would appear to, kind of paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly, but whoever like it would appear to would like usher in essentially like a new age for Mandalore, and whoever saw it would be those who would lead that new, I guess, iteration of the Mandalorians on the Mandalore planet. So that would be interesting now if like, oh, Grogu's like, oh yeah, I got a mom and a dad now, and we're gonna run Mandalore together. But
I want to know more of the story, like, 'cause she's from Mandalore, like her parents are high-ranking members, and then he's just like, I've never been here.
And so like, so Bo's sister was Princess Satine, who so how Padme is how Padme is to Anakin, Princess Satine was to Obi-Wan. Just Obi-Wan didn't act on it in the same way that Anakin did with Padme.
Right.
But
so we think
Anakin
or at least we don't know. Because
Obi-Wan was just better at it.
I remember for a long time that was what my theory was for the sequel trilogy, was that Rey was like either Obi-Wan's like granddaughter or something somehow. Like
still could be. We don't have to believe she's a Palpatine.
Different weird crazy thing happened instead.
Somehow
I had a clone and then it had a kid.
Somehow Palpatine returned. But yeah, I'll try to find like each of like the Mandalore episodes of like the Clone Wars and Rebels and try to make a list of it so you can check them out.
I just want to know when he became a Mandalorian versus when the place got destroyed.
So in season, I think it was season 1, they had like, or season 2, they had the flashback. Yeah, where the flashback where like it was it Death Watch that saved him, right?
Well, it's like the big dude that it looks
Paz
so much.
Vizsla?
Yeah, it looks like it's Paz Vizsla, but it also looks like he was in a Death Watch armor.
Okay. Yeah, it's because that looked like it was like during, and with like what age he's supposed to be, it feels like that would have been during.
Because then how do Mandalorians age?
It feels like that would have been like during the Clone Wars. Because if he was...
Well, like the original Mandalorians weren't humanoid. They were different like species altogether. We don't need to get into the whole genealogy of Mandalore.
Yes, we do.
They're probably half the Alamites. If like the Alamites got pushed out to like they probably were like crossbreeding with one another.
But like Mandalorians is like it's presented with Din. It's a religion. Mandalore's the religion. Mm-hmm. It's also the place. It's like if you're like, Jewish or that.
Yeah, I was gonna be like similar.
I understand that.
And racially.
But I just like the curiosity has me piqued because technically Katie Sackhoff's younger than him.
Yeah.
No, Katie Sackhoff's like 90 in this.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is like, what the hell are the ages here? And like, how long was it between him getting his 50. Helmet? And Grogu was 75, I thought.
They're all older than
he could be. He could be now with what Jon Favreau was saying at the time. Like, I don't know how old Grogu is anymore. We're
basing it off our Christian calendar here.
He's
Everything's different back then.
It's his 111th birthday.
Yep. No, there's just like a disconnect for me that I just want to patch up. Is like,
yeah, I think
I feel like
they don't like age in the same way as like.
Oh yeah, nobody does.
Thing. Yeah,
I feel like from that flashback, it had to do with like the raids when the Empire came in to like the Mandalore areas to bomb them and take them over. That's when Din's time being taken into the Watch. That's when that happened.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
you'd think they'd change what the living waters are. Like, we can't go back there. It's been 50 years. Maybe we should pick some different water.
I mean, they
know.
also, yeah.
I think it's like supposed to be like a natural like hot spring almost, like
Those exist elsewhere.
Yeah, I know,
but the Mythosaur doesn't exist there elsewhere.
I think
True,
it's like this whole mythic
capture them and move them
thing to it.
Relocate them.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think they knew it was there.
Move the water.
That's why the name is Myth.
Yeah.
Myth busted.
That's why I made. That's why I told you I needed that meme.
Yeah, that was if anyone's seen that, it was Justin's idea. But I don't know. I enjoyed that. I'm curious like what the payoff for that will be now though, because as he was like reciting the creed to restore himself as Mandalorian, and then all of that happens. Do we now think that either Din considers himself redeemed, or that he just got interrupted in between it?
No, he does.
I was gonna say I don't know if he does because he's like super like strict to like and meticulous to some of this stuff. So like I don't know.
I think he's
like,
gonna go back
only
in
said half
and watch a step after like a couple days, and that make sure the Mythosaur's back to sleep, and then
and then
I'm not sure if he thinks that he's cleansed himself. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think we'll find out.
We bet.
Next episode. But I personally don't think that. I think he's like 50-50 with it.
If he purified himself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah, like it's not what you got to do.
I think he's probably not going to consider himself done until he's brought the Mandalorians back.
Yeah,
which is because we like seen in that previous footage with him leading a group of Mandalorians, or what it makes it cut to be looking like he's leading a group of Mandalorians from that desert hidey hole that they're in right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the planet isn't poisoned, or he's going to try that and find out the real truth of why it was abandoned.
And then I guess to kind of, Sylvia agrees too. I guess to kind of go with that is also with Bo Katan seeing the Mythosaur. Is that going to kind of like maybe like reactivate kind of like not necessarily like as much of like a religious zealot kind of like ideology of Mandalore, but more to kind of a little bit closer to him,
Reformation.
Like closer to like his wavelength of thinking, but not like fully like
it depends. Was she
like
shocked
again Mandalore?
Or
I don't know, because that was the only time she had her helmet on, so you couldn't see her face.
Was she shocked that it was real, or shocked that it was awake?
That's what I think. I think it depends on how she viewed everything.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that resolution at the episode at the end of the episode. So I think it does depend on that for sure. I mean, not for sure, but like that's just I definitely share that opinion. I think it depends on how she comes away from this whole experience.
Yeah. Now, so that kind of closes out like the main story of the episode. It was there. What were like some of your favorite moments that you guys that we didn't talk about, or that maybe we did talk about already, but you'd want to just elaborate on a little bit further? Because I know for me, like outside of stuff that I didn't say at the beginning, was that I loved, like I said with like Grogu, to like doing all like the backflips and stuff, and like you could kind of almost see like the visual like look on his face of like him feeling like he was like a badass taking out the like the Alamite, which
Yeah,
might not be
feeling
good if he's prideful about that stuff, because that could lead him down to the dark side. And then I also really enjoyed the like the plaque at the Living Waters. It reminded me kind of the plaque at Disneyland. It's like, here you leave today and enter the world of yesteryear, today, and tomorrow of Mandalore. Mandalore will never be finished as far as I. But yeah, I liked all that. And then, so go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there was a callback to when Disney or when Marvel started doing the Star Wars comics again with the purchase, the acquisition. There was a callback to a Jason Aaron comic thing that happened with the atmosphere and how it blocks out. It's all that storm, and then it blocks out all the signals. And that was like Han Solo had a planet like that where he'd like smuggle stuff in and hang out and hide away from TIE fighters and stuff. And it was seeing that being brought back in kind of was a nice callback for me.
I didn't even know that. That's cool to hear.
Oh, side note to that with the green glass stuff. I had saw that was on the green like glass segment that Din brought to the Armorer last week, is that it just has like the Old Testament written on it, like the actual like from the Bible. So it's just written in like Mandalore on the glass.
Makes sense.
Kind of funny. How about you, Adam, and then Mike?
I mean, I just enjoyed watching the Dark Saber. That was really cool. That was just her whole part. It was her episode. I felt like it was her episode.
Yeah.
So just having her wield the Dark Saber and use it so eloquently, like I mentioned earlier, just like it's an extension of herself.
Yep.
Like an extra limb. It was just so cool to see that. And that was like my favorite part of the episode for sure. Was
especially
her
juxtaposed.
Like her action sequences. Yeah. Because usually, because he was just trapped. He's just like, I'm in a little cage.
I echo the Dark
Saber or anything, and
he's never been able to use it as far as he's had it, and then she just picks it up and just, what's the problem? Like,
that was so cool.
She goes all hibachi chef on that thing.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I enjoyed that they jumped right in it. We didn't get this whole long drawn out thing of him like walking to the living waters, and just I'm glad the pacing has been. That's what I'm enjoying, is the pacing of their storytelling so far.
Yeah, and we still have what, like 6 more episodes. So
yeah,
forever. They're never ending it, right? That's what he said.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. At least they don't have an idea of where they're going to. Is what what he said. So that's the only scary part to that, was like, I like that, like you want to keep it going, but I do kind of hope that you have some inkling, of an idea,
like we talked
where
about,
you'd like it to go.
We don't want a whole lost situation where you're just aimlessly doing stuff.
I refuse to believe that they don't know where they're going with it. You have to. Like, Disney's not just going to take on this thing and be like, well, where does it end? Oh, we don't know yet. We don't know how this is going to end. Just buy it and produce it, and we'll figure that part out later.
Just give us lots of money.
Yeah, like lots.
Just print all the merchandise with Grogu on it.
It doesn't end up in an Arizona junkyard or anything.
Oh yeah. But if anybody wants some Grogu Funko Pop, they are at the landfill here in Arizona.
Nice.
Is that where they brought them? The landfill in Arizona. That's so crazy. Could they just like have given
sealed boxes?
Couldn't they just have
take a
given
couple
children's hospitals or something, or like done something like that?
Make a wish them to people.
Like anything other than like, look what we made, a bunch of trash. Because doesn't that make them like all the other ones, like the exclusive ones, and like if they're just tossing them away like they're nothing, doesn't that make every single one of them just kind of worthless?
Yep.
Yeah. Although to a lot of people they already were, I guess. But
I like them.
I do too. I'm
If
looking
you
at
could
the
see
Alan
my-
Grant one right here.
If you could see my collection, I'm surrounded by them.
I have
Got
my
Wade
collection's
Watts right
like
here.
$2,000 worth of pops. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Now I'm gonna get robbed.
Now your significant other knows that too.
Nah. She's still. I'm pretty sure. Mark knows this, but I bought 2 pops in secret, and I just they came when she was at work, and I just kind of put them up. She's never said anything. Never a word.
Dino DNA.
Yeah, I do. It's a Dino DNA one, and then I don't even remember the other one. I think it might be the Shawarma one with Captain America, where it's you can link them all together. I only like the Captain America one.
Covering up his prosthetic beard.
Yes.
That's the one that I was most curious about seeing how they do that, just because I know in real life Chris Evans had that thing over his face to cover up his beard. But yeah, if nobody else has anything else to say, I think that's gonna do it for our episode this week to close out our recap of The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 2, The Mines of Mandalore, Chapter 18. Yeah. Lots of numbers. We hope you enjoyed our discussion. And we're definitely looking forward to what happens next week. And then don't forget, you can tune in next week when we'll be recapping episode
we're not
3.
done. We're not done.
And we're still going with this kind of backdoor theme that I'm having of interconnecting people that either podcast about or love the series Ted Lasso as well, with having them.
What am I doing here?
We're trying to convert you.
Yeah, we'll convert.
I just haven't ever watched it. That's all.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it when you do watch it, though.
I mean, it's the last. Isn't it the last season?
Supposedly.
Yeah,
Sure.
So I kind of explained it last time, but I'll do it as we close out here. Is that the reasoning and my kind of idea of thinking for it was that Jason Sudeikis did the voice of one of the scout troopers in season 1 of Mandalorian that beats up Grogu, that the internet got upset about when that happened, because you don't smack Grogu in the face.
But you can throw him.
Yeah, you can throw him all you want.
Throw them all you want, just don't smack him.
And then also I don't remember how long ago, but in an interview that he had done a while back when he was talking about the 3 seasons of Ted Lasso, he said he'd kind of framed the narrative of the arc to be that season 1 was A New Hope, season 2 was Empire Strikes Back, and season 3 was Return of the Jedi. So that's kind of the connection there.
So you're saying we're gonna get a prequel trilogy of Ted Lasso?
Possibly.
Yeah.
When he was a college football coach.
Yeah.
And then the fact
The
that they kind of
sequel
started
series with his son.
that they're going to be
Illegitimate son that we don't know about.
that they're going to kind of be airing at the same time too. I just thought that would be cool, is that since Mando's going to be airing at the same time as season 3 of Ted Lasso, kind of get these Ted Lasso podcasters on, or just people that like Ted Lasso in general, to come on and kind of just talk Star Wars too. I thought it would be a cool way to think outside the box with guests to get to talk about Mandalorian.
A bunch of full circle stories, I'm sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you guys liked this episode, you can leave us a review on the podcast catcher of your choice if it allows you to do so. You can also hit the bell, you can do all the
click all the buttons, just mash the keyboard.
Yeah. Hit the bell and hit all. Leave comments, leave nice comments. No one likes hurtful comments.
Comment below.
Yeah. Be kind, rewind. Yeah. And this way, that way, any which way. We also
not up there though.
Yeah, or
that's the search bar.
Yeah. Don't up there, because that's where the X is to close out the window. So don't hit that.
Don't hit there. Never up. Always to the left, to the right, or down.
The volume button is somewhere down here, so if you want it to be louder, hit that.
Closed captions is right around here, but below mic.
But none of this means anything if
there.
you're just listening to the audio version. You're just like, what? what's happening. But we
If
also
in that case, it's right here.
They're wondering where the mute button is.
Yeah. But also, if you are watching this on video, we hope that you liked we have a new video intro, a Mando specific one, and then once we're not talking Mando anymore, we have another Holdo intro that will debut after that, and then we have that new outro at the end that are pretty cool. I like them a lot. I like the general Holdo one a lot, which I'm looking forward to when we can show that one. The teaser for that one is that I didn't tell the creator that made that I liked that Dominic Monaghan was one of my favorite actors, but they still used a line that Dominic Monaghan said from Rise of Skywalker for an audio clip in that. So I was like, yes, this is cool. But you can find the show on social media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube by looking for Holdo Pod or the Holdo Maneuver podcast. And then all of our handles for Twitter and Instagram are all in our show notes for myself, for Mike, for Adam, for Justin, and for our editor Vactor. And then you can also email us at holdopod@gmail.com. And then Adam and Justin, did you guys have anything that you wanted to plug or share this week? Or anything as you come?
I will just quickly give a shout out to my podcast, Rant to the Future. The latest at this time episode is me and Mark talking about Ted Lasso. So
there you go.
It's full circle there.
Going for full circles.
But
also,
other than that,
also mental health. We talked about mental health.
Also mental health. It's a combination how they kind of go together.
Like poetry, it rhymes.
Ted Lasso and mental health go together.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
if you watched it.
Yes.
They actually go together very well, in my opinion.
There you go.
So other than that, and then I'll be having another guest on to talk about the new TMNT trailer after this.
Very nice.
But check it out, Rant to the Future.
How about you, Adam?
We just wrapped another horror short. And then we're just kind of building our library right now. This is our 7th or 8th short, something like that, all horror. And then eventually we're going to get to the point where we release them. But when you work with other people, you get one opinion and that's only your own, and everybody else's. When you get outnumbered, you're outnumbered. I kind of want to release stuff, but people are right. Wait till our library is bigger. I get it. But that's what I've been working on. That's what I will continue to be working on throughout the year, is getting my library of horror films bigger, and also producing my first feature this year, I'm hoping. But it's Issue One Productions is my production company that I started with my girlfriend and my writing partner.
Nice. And then actually a really quick side note to that, if you're still listening, that former past guest and fellow Star Wars podcaster Ralph Elpel just shared yesterday that he is working on a Lost documentary, so that should be coming out next year for the 20th anniversary of the show, and I'm very excited.
Jesus, 20 years.
Yeah,
that's
20th anniversary of the premiere of the show.
Still,
so,
one of those things that makes me feel real old.
That's
20 years lost.
That's the one with Bobby Moynihan, right?
Yep. It's being directed by Taylor Morgan, who did like the last blockbuster documentary most recently. He also has a Build-A-Bear documentary coming out too that actually looks pretty cool. But I'm excited about that. I'm a Lost fan, so
yeah, I was too, and now I feel old.
I've never seen it.
Oh man, we got to introduce you to it, Justin.
The title is apt at times.
But the title of the documentary is called Getting Lost. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to that because Russ, good guy, and I want people to check it out when it comes out next year. So with that, As always, we are grateful to George Lucas for creating the Star Wars universe.
Oh my, thank the maker.